That was when Jasmine became alarmed. Glancing at her watch, it was 20 after 8. She'd been away for nearly a week. Someone could have gotten in here minutes after she left or at any time between 6.5 days ago and now. Sadim seemed to be taking forever inside, and Jasmine grew impatient. Jasmine unzipped her purse and jiggled it, then held it at a slightly tilted angle and stuck one hand inside. She felt around for a brief moment, and going only on the sense of touch that women who carry big purses develop, came up with the small flashlight that she had used maybe on one other occasion. Jasmine first stuck her head inside, then flicked on the small flashlight. Sadim was coming out her bedroom and put his hands up to his face, shielding his eyes. Bitte, make off shots, Sadim pleaded, advancing toward Jasmine and her flashlight. They break door, come in, but they leave. We must call police. He had the flashlight now and led Jasmine to the door, pointing to the splintered wood around the space of the door that indicated a forced entry. He then flicked off the flashlight, re entered the living room, cut on the light, and headed for the telephone in Jasmine's bedroom. Jasmine stood there looking around the room. To the casual observer, the room looked undisturbed, but Jasmine could tell someone had been in here. She took 4 slow steps over to the little table that sat next to the love seat, which held several decorative objects. One was a small mahogany tobacco case, the top not pushed down completely, not the way Jasmine remembered leaving it. She headed for her bedroom, and it was much more of the same. Little things, like her makeup brush, were in the wrong container on her vanity table, and a stack of letters she kept bundled up near had been handled and left with some of the letters that were on top spilling over to the tabletop. Who was in here, and what were they hunting for? Jasmine hurried into the bedroom. Sadim called. Sadim calls Detective Mueller, not the regular police. I'm sure he would want to know about this first. Sadim looked at her, more through her, considering, then pulled his wallet out of his inside breast pocket and found the paper with the detective's number, which he had taken down when the detective had come to question Jasmine just 2 days before their trip to London. Detective Mueller explained to Jasmine at the time how Jim had turned Marcus Holtz in for tax evasion, and when the authorities raided Cape Studios' offices, they demanded Marcus open a safe that was installed in a wall behind the two metal file cabinets. Its existence was only known to a chosen few, Jim being one of them. The safe contained detailed accounts of most of the illegal activities connected with Cape Studios, of which Marcus was the chief. Jasmine had no idea a safe actually existed. She thought when Jim told her all that stuff about Marcus and his illegal activities that he was exaggerating the extent of Marcus's deceit. Then Jim hired an attorney, and his this attorney sent Marcus a notice that he was to appear in court regarding the overdue wages, some 237 hours worth, that were never paid to Jim. The descriptions gathered from the witnesses at the scene all were in agreement, Detective Mueller explained. When Jasmine viewed the composite sketch, it took her seconds to come up with the name, Marcus Holtz, as to who the rough looking face on the sketch might be. Jasmine was only contacted, the detective said, because on the legal documents that were served to Marcus regarding Jim's court case, Jasmine Jackson's name appeared as a probable witness on Jim's team, therefore against Marcus. As far as Jasmine knew, they hadn't caught Marcus yet. It was rumored, stated the detective, that Marcus had stashed away enough money so that he can go completely underground. or possibly he could be out of the country. But the detective assured a worried Jasmine that she was perfectly safe and she shouldn't worry about Marcus. He will be dealt with, was how he put it. He went on to tell Jasmine and Sadim that he had been assigned to the Munich connection in the investigation of Jim's death. Considering the fact that Jim was on his way to visit Jasmine, he felt it was best she be cautious and gave her his business card, which Sadim quickly took from her fingertips. Then, after he jotted down the information on the back of a small sales receipt paper, placed the paper in his wallet. Jasmine clearly remembered the threat she'd made to Marcus, but was convinced deep inside that he was probably long gone after murdering poor Jim. She prayed it was so. By the time Detective Mueller arrived, Jasmine had been through every room and couldn't find anything missing, just tampered with, as she tried to explain to the detective. Sadim urged Jasmine to come to his place that night. I sleep on couch, he whispered in her ear, so that the detective wouldn't overhear his offer. No, no, no. If somebody is after me, then I want to remain in the open, where he can see me, and I can see him. I don't even know if it was Marcus that broke in here, Sadim. Jasmine exclaimed, not caring what either he or the detective might think about it. Her mind was made up. Ja, to have good idea, Frau Jackson, Detective Mueller quickly interjected, surprising Jasmine and siding with her. Jasmine looked over in surprise at the fact detective. She could recall, after his first visit, wondering how he chased any hypothetical fleeing suspects with his bulk. But that thick, Brillo pad mustache of his often muffled his speech. I can have one man police here and one on street in auto, but for only 2 days, not more. He emphasized two by raising his chubby fist and extending his thumb and index finger in front of his face. I can have help here, Saddam stated. I know people, they come stay for how much it take. And he turned to Jasmine and looked her in her eyes with a determination that made Jasmine feel instantly safer. That cannot happen. My men professional. Your men will be always under their foot. The detective objected to Saddam, and then the two debated the issue in Deutsch. The detective ended it by turning to Jasmine as if to say, call off your dog, lady. Changing the subject, the detective asked Jasmine a few more standard questions, and then he asked Jasmine if he could see her American passport. Of course, Jasmine answered his request and headed for her bedroom to retrieve it. She didn't think to open the brass case at the foot of her bed and didn't notice on first inspection of her bedroom that the clip lock on the front of the case had been left sticking out and unlatched. Jasmine ran over to the case and slowly dropped to her knees. She opened the lid like the case was Pandora's box. With a mixture of fear and curiosity, her mind shouting the possibilities of sabotage that could be waged with the documents that were kept in this case. On the left side of the trunk, still in a neat pile, were her three wool sweaters, all packed tightly in plastic and stacked on top of each other, with a small cedar block on the top sweater to try and ward off any moths. On the other side was the large brown envelope that held all Jasmine's important documents and her passport.